There is breaking news coming in. Facebook has announced it will begin rolling out this week changes to how it handles private data. The announcement comes in the wake of new European Union rules called the General Data Protection Regulation. Facebook is finally taking its first steps to comply with Europe's strict data privacy rules. The EU's data privacy rules, the GDPR, kicks in on May 25th. And to give us more details on this news story, I am joined in by Mohammed Saleh from the newsroom. Let's quickly go across to Mohammed. Mohammed, Facebook is finally taking its first steps to comply with Europe's strict data privacy rules. Please brief us what can be expected out of this change in privacy policy by Facebook.
Right, Akansha, it needs to be made fairly clear at this point of time that Facebook is facing massive embarrassment after this data leak scandal that has taken place. And now they're essentially only reacting in terms of how laws are being framed. Now, what we are looking at here at this point of time is that the European Union has come up with stricter regulations where they are saying that, look, the rights to privacy of users is something that cannot in any way be infringed upon. So the European Union has come up with a very, very stringent guidelines in terms of what Facebook can and cannot access for the users. Now, this is a regulation that will start to come into effect by the 25th of May. Now, what Facebook is trying to do is they are trying to preempt that, and they are now saying that, look, all of these things where you are saying that user information cannot be accessed, we will ask our users to give us permission. One, and secondly, if users are not comfortable with the amount of data that they are giving out on their social networking profiles, then perhaps the users can in fact review how much of the data that they have already given. For instance, if a person is not very comfortable with the fact that, you know, his or her relationship status is already present on Facebook, a person can in fact review and alter that. Same goes with a person's religion, same goes with a person's sexual orientation, or with the political ideology and the affiliation that he may have. Now, all of this is information that an individual can at this point of time review. This is what Facebook is asking all of its users. Right. And also at this point of time, because remember, fundamentally, Facebook as a business model operates by targeting advertisements to its users. What Facebook is now telling its users is, look, if you don't want this to happen, you can also choose to opt out of the fact that you will get advertising. But how they'll take the business model forward is, of course, something that remains to be seen. If users are not very happy with the kind of advertisements that they are seeing, then they can also try and make tweaks to that as well. Some interesting bit of experiments that are being done by Facebook.
Saleh, I also would like to ask you, Facebook's compliance with the GDPR, is it just going to be limited to Europe, or will we see US lawmakers also taking up with this data privacy policy, considering, let's not forget, that Zuckerberg just testified in front of the US Congress last week in Washington?
All right. Now, Akansha, this is fairly straightforward. Facebook is a private entity that operates under the purview and the limits and boundaries that are set by the laws of a particular nation. Now, if the European Union has come forth with a very stringent regulations, this was something that was asked to Zuckerberg during the course of the questioning. What do you intend to do in terms of your privacy guidelines that you have when you operate here? So he was very clear. We will adhere to the law of the land. Now, if, let's say, for instance, in India, we do not have those strict guidelines, there is little reason as to why Facebook will have to adhere to those guidelines. So it is essentially incumbent on the governments of a particular nation to ensure that the privacy of their citizens is not compromised upon. Facebook, at the end of the day, remember, is a private entity driven with the motive of profit, and it will only adhere to those privacy laws that are clearly spelled out in the law of the land, and that is what Mark Zuckerberg, of course, intends to do. Of course, they are now in an overdrive to try and save face and save their reputation. But at this point of time, the facts are fairly clear. Facebook wants your data. It wants users to go and upload their data so that it can manipulate it, try get advertisements in. This has been used for political elections, manipulating elections, and this is why it's become such a huge scandal. But at the end of the day, remember, it is we, the people, who in fact upload the data, voluntarily give it which later on is manipulated, and then we complain about it.
Right, Saleh. Let's hope this is a positive first step in the right direction, and that it also prompts other parts of the countries, including US, to take this data privacy policy forward. Thank you so much, Mohammed Saleh, for bringing us all those details live from the newsroom.